Taoiseach, as you know, climate change, among other things, results in extreme weather events. And one impact that is maybe becoming apparent is when we get these torrential downpours. One consequence in my area, and indeed areas with swimming spots around Dublin Bay, is that the pumping stations that deal with foul water overflow. So yesterday, despite the fact for the last week or two with the good weather, thousands of people are swimming down there. Oireachtas Town had to issue a no-swim notice, not because they know if there's pollution, but because they're not sure. But as a result of the rainfall, there's fears of overflows. And this is to do with the lack of capacity at the Ringsend sewage treatment plant, which we've been told for years was going to be upgraded and expanded to address this problem, but it hasn't been done. And the consequence now is that even though we won't know the test results of the water at Sea Point, Sandy Cove and other swimming spots till Saturday, there's no swimming till the weekend because of the rain. Now that is a crazy, crazy situation, and it needs to be addressed with proper investment in the Ringsend plant.
Deputy Smith.
Thanks, Chair. I want to thank the deputies for their questions. Deputy Huron asked about progress on geothermal energy, and I'm familiar with one or two proposals in Dublin, actually in the southwest of Dublin, which have been around for a long time now, probably around 15 or 20 years, and they're very interesting and very exciting. I don't know enough about the technology to know to what extent they're viable, but the Deputy is correct in saying that we need to have a policy framework. I'm not sure what the timeline for that is at the moment, but I'll certainly check with Minister Ryan and get back to Deputy Huron as soon as I can. Just in relation to the nature law, despite the existence of habitats and birds directives for several decades, the EU, including Ireland, continues to see an alarming loss of biodiversity. And the nature law is all about arresting that and reversing it. Consideration of draft regulations is continuing at the moment. As deputies will know, there are different proposals. There's the European Commission proposal, the European Council proposal, which has just been adopted, and a draft proposal at the Parliament, which the Parliament has not yet adopted. There will be a trialogue, and I can say that I support the Council proposal, which was agreed by Minister Ryan yesterday. I believe it is realistic in terms of targets, in terms of flexibilities, in terms of compensation that will be provided to landowners. And I think it's particularly significant that the Council proposal yesterday allows for the fact that when it comes to renewable energy, that renewable energy installation, the grid, the wires, all of those things will be considered IROPI, will be considered effectively exempt from the nature law. And that totally proves that those who said that there wasn't a conflict between renewable energy and climate action and the Parliament's proposal got it wrong, whether it's MEP Wallace, Social Democrats, People for Profit or others. That provision would not be in the Council proposal adopted yesterday were there not genuine concerns about how an overly restrictive nature law could impact on climate action and renewables. And I'm glad to see that's in the Council proposal yesterday. But it now goes into trialogue, and as a government, we support what was agreed. What was agreed yesterday. Sorry, on the EPA issue, the latest greenhouse gas emissions from the EPA highlight the challenge that Ireland faces in meeting its climate objectives. The EPA has projected that Ireland is on course to reduce emissions by 29% by 2030. However, if all of the unmodelled actions and as yet unallocated emission savings in the Climate Action Plan are included, then the EPA's projected emissions reduction would be 42%. While projections show that emissions are expected to decrease in almost all sectors, it is clear that Ireland has work to do to meet our challenges and legally binding emissions targets. Change is now underway across our economy and society to realign ourselves to a low-carbon future. Reducing emissions is now at the heart of our policies and sectors. It's essential that we quickly translate our high-level goals and plans to meaningful actions on the ground. We need to fully implement the actions of the Climate Action Plan of 2023 and strengthen additional measures needed to reach our targets. And I can confirm to the deputies that, of course, we intend to meet our 51% reduction target by 2023. And rather than treating industry as enemies. We're engaging with industry, and it's very interesting to meet firms like Diageo, for example, in the brewing sector, like Lilly in the pharma sector, and seeing how ambitious and how feasible their plans to meet net zero are, because they know it's in their economic interest to do so.